Oh my god, guys, I'm getting so emotional because it's like the last day of the reunion. Okay, back up a bit. We weren't actually told it was the last day, so we just started the reunion, normal gist. And I noticed that they divided them into two groups. So they asked the boys questions first, and then they asked the girls questions as well. So they were basically asking about gender expectations and ego, and of course, trust Neo to shalaye because he came through. And if you can ask him, okay, you came into the house, you probably thought you were going to be the flyest guy, but of course, you came in, you saw so many people. You're like, yeah, so I saw Eric, I don't have chest. I saw Prince with dreads, and I had dreads before I cut mine off. I saw Prince with the composure and the swag, and I just felt some type of way. So the only way I had to be was myself. And then Prince at the other end was like, oh yeah, but he noticed stuff about relationships. He didn't really come planned to have a relationship, of course, because he had something outside the house. So it wasn't his plan to have a relationship, but I mean, what happened happened. And Tochi be very hilarious. Now Tochi is a very funny person because I noticed that during the funny how I noticed that he was funny during the reunion because we didn't really get to see much of him in the house. And Tochi said that from the first day when he entered, the AC was cold. So he already knew that people were going to be cuddling and coupling up. And then he also found himself in the room of love where everybody was, doing stuff according to him. So yeah, he spoke about that. Brighton said that he thought Prince would win because of his composure. That's outside himself. Brighton was like, oh, apart from me, well, I thought Prince would win because he had his composure and stuff. Tricky T felt like Prince, Ozo, or Eric would win, but then he said he changed his mind about Eric after like a week or some days of seeing Eric. I'm like, this guy is too calm. He's not really the kind of person that would win the show. And Lekon was asked if he felt at any point that he was going to win, and he was like, no, that until his name was called, that he even practically thought he was going to spend like 2 days. I'm like, imagine underdog thing. He probably thought he was going to spend like 2 days, but he eventually won. Now the ladies were called in and they were asked, do you think that the relationship between you guys in the house, do you think it was okay? And they were like, not really. We don't really think it was okay, especially seeing that so many people, like, it was a lot for her because when you're praying and thinking about something and it happens, it might be shocking at first, especially if it's a big dream that you're praying towards. So she said she had to adjust to that, which was why girls that were in cliques had their back, like the way maybe Nengi and V had their back because they were friends and stuff. Nengi said she came into the house with an open mind, but she was misjudged. If it's not for her outfits, it's for the fact that she was always spending lots of time with the guys, so she didn't really understand whether the guys were more friendly. And even Nengi agreed, like, the guys are more friendly, they're more open-minded. That Big Brother definitely did something with the selection this year because the guys on a different level. And they now had to say like last words, and Katrina was like, oh, she's apologizing to Nengi, that it wasn't her intention to like judge or anything. She just wanted to advise, in quotes. And I'm like, everybody there is grown, nobody really needs your advice. Apologized to Nengi. Nengi was like, yeah, but I wasn't flirting with anybody. You just assumed and then you acted off your assumption. Tricky. Then finally everybody, like, after they finished doing the girls and the boys, they now called everybody in. And Tricky T was saying that he had pressure because they started talking about having points apart from Bright admitted that he has some sort of pressure. Some of them walked around in different ways. He had pressure for like 2 weeks, and after that he even said that somebody asked him why he doesn't have a Benz, and he told the person, how do I go from entering keke to having a Benz? That's not how life works, Big Brother or not. Nengi was like, yeah, that they can still be themselves. She was basically telling housemates that they can be themselves. And Ebuka cited an example of people that do not post pictures unless it's professionally taken. And I felt like that shade was for Nengi or someone. Child, these people, if a photographer is not involved, they are not posting these pictures. But Nengi said, kind of explained and said, they work with brands, and these brands have expectations of them, so they have to act right. So yeah, after that, Lekon said 3 parts. First as a housemate, secondly as a winner, and then as an artist. And he also explained that thing that so many people have into different industry. For him now, the music industry, and being taken for granted, or not, people not having enough faith in them because it's like, oh, you just got lucky, you don't really have the talent. And a lot of other housemates have complained about it as well. Lilo said she didn't feel any pressure. Yeah, Lilo and Brighto were the ones that said they didn't feel any pressure. Lilo said she didn't feel any pressure. She just wanted to get her bag, get her career going, and that was what she did immediately after. Lucy, on the other hand, said it was really difficult for her to adjust because she was just a regular schmegular girl, doing her thing. She wasn't famous. So she had to adjust, and even when people were trying to help her, she's like, I need to grow into this new position. I need to grow. I need some tutelage. So now she said hopefully she has adjusted well to it. She has gotten the tutelage that she needs. So it is what it is. Praise said he felt the pressure. Like he said, he had to walk on eggshells around his fans. He couldn't really do so much because he felt like the fans expected more from him. So he was basically doing what they and kind of advise himself. Watoni said that she beats herself up sometimes, feeling that she doesn't do enough, and she wants the world to know that she's doing stuff, so she has to double the hustle basically. Brighto, God, this Brighto guy gives me headache. I tell you, he gives me a headache because he literally said that, oh, he didn't feel any pressure, that for him it was more the fame. He didn't feel any pressure was because he wasn't the one handling his accounts. He wasn't the one handling any of those, so the pressure wasn't getting to him directly. It was more his social media handlers. So he was just getting his head swollen, and at some point he had to refocus and focus on his life and his career instead of the fame that would go in like 11 months. And after that, we spoke to Tochi. Tochi gave something really solid. He said that he wasn't a fashionista, he wasn't any of the social media influencers before getting into the house. So when he came out of the house and he got that pressure of this, that at first he was like, okay, do I go to a studio and start taking pictures? But then he had to balance himself quickly and be like, what you like doing is going on site, inspecting buildings, so do it. And the first few times he did it, people were like, but yeah, BBNaija housemate, like, so. But eventually they got used to it, and he got more clients because of the fame. So that was how he handled it. Eric, on the other end, Eric was like, regardless of what you people say, when I say I'm not doing enough, I'm happy when my guys win. If any of the housemates win, I'm always celebrating with them. As for me, I know where I came from, and this upgrade is like a 400% upgrade for me. So I'm really happy with where I am. I'm working. Tochi was giving some advice. He was saying that at this point, they are all they have to support themselves, and in between that, I know how Lucy will drop jokes here and there, and she drops something and Tochi changed it for how. He was like, please, I don't like when people are distracting me when I'm saying something serious. Don't do that. I'm like, sorry, Lucy had to apologize though. So yeah, that was basically where we left it. That happened at the reunion. Do you know that Kaisha and V almost fought? That one is just like it died down before, but they were talking, and Kaisha would say something and V would be like, Kaisha would be like, V, and that's how they were warning themselves. They almost fought. But Kaisha said something about boss lady. First of all, Katrina was asking the housemates why her boss lady tag was always getting to them, why they were so upset about it, and they're like, you don't have to say it all the time like you're trying to prove a point. You can act it and we'll understand that you're a boss lady. You having to say it even when you're turning stew, I'm a boss lady, if you're folding clothes, but like it was not necessary. That was what Watoni and Kaisha were saying. And then Kaisha also brought up the idea, the parts where Katrina was always saying she had land, she had diamonds, and she was like, okay, so Kaisha said, okay, so if you have the Big Brother house, everybody, that was we went a little bit too far. Lucy admitted that she likes praise, but she couldn't go for praise because Katrina likes praise, and he also had like a relationship outside the house, and she wasn't down for that kind of drama. So that was basically, so like, okay, he said it's fine. Like next season, he didn't announce the date though, so we are looking forward to that, and we'll definitely keep you updated. But that was basically it. Thank you so much for sticking with us through the 12 episodes of the reunion. You are a real G if you watched our videos, if you commented, if you liked. You are definitely a real G, a day one that you are. This is brought to you by every NG, and my name is Judith. Have a good night.